Funny yank. Alright, so the WTA draw is ready to go in Rome, and we've got a lot of players that played well last week in Madrid, playing again this week. Let's have a look at the players that are not playing this week, because we do have a lot of withdrawal. Okay, so here is the current withdrawal list. You can see there, Anisimova, she's pulled out. Bencic, Collins, Halep. Kvitova has pulled out, which is interesting, because she did play Madrid. Raducanu, of course, is out. Siniakova, Tomanovic, Teague, and Song are all out of this event. Let's go to the top of the draw. So you can see there, we've got 32 seeds in this one, and all 32 seeds get a bye in the first round. Swiatek, number 1 seed, should take on either Pavlyuchenkova or Irani in the second round. Should the average user...
Okay, great. I didn't know if anyone was gonna join. I need to hook this up. Sorry, one more thing I need to hook up, because it's important. It's important. All right, you guys. And I need to put this in here. And I need to put this here so that we have power. We have power, and we have takeoff. T-Dog, I don't remember your apology, but basically, T-Dog, I'll look for it. I don't remember seeing it, but T-Dog, you don't need to apologize. This is stressful stuff for everyone. I know everyone's doing their best. I'm not much of a rough and tumble guy. I'm one of those guys that can be overly sensitive to things. But having said that, I also can understand that when we're in a scrum, you know, some elbows fly and things like that. So thank you, T-Dog, but I bear no ill will. Let's see what everyone's saying. Okay, I'll look. I'm not very good at these DMs. Hey, Mike Russo. I can't see Mr. Darren Collins. Anna, Massey, hi. Permanent vacation. That's what we all need. Lock up, sway. I'm rocking it on Spaces, maybe? Spaces. Beat you to it. I'm invited to a GTII space call. Well, I guess we could do that. Let me look and see. Lion, if it's going on now, maybe we can do that for a little while. Live. But I got to tell you, Lion, I don't want to get involved in all the drama. I was young once, but you've never been old. And the thing, I don't see a space call, Lion. I don't see any space calls. So, oh, here. You're welcome, AC. Here's one Busy Brands is doing. Let me see who's in there. Retail United, all tickers. Is that the one you're talking about, Lion? All right. All right, Lion, let me look for it. I don't see it right now. And I might I might just yeah, I don't see it. So I might just pass on up on it for a little while. No, Ben, you can't make fun of me. People always tell me they DM'd me, but where is it? No, I know. I admit my incompetence with these things, and frankly, I don't know how people do it. Apparently you've got DMs, you've got YouTube, you've got Twitter, you've got WhatsApp, you've got the other thing that like WhatsApp, you've got you've got the messages here, you got email, you got different emails. You didn't return my message. I didn't see it. Oh, there's a Wells notice on GTII. I have to admit to you, it's been a nerve-shattering experience for me, sir. What movie was that? Can't remember. Let's see what GTII is doing. 1:15. Well, this will be interesting. We got 15 minutes to go, basically, roughly. And it was as low as 102, high as 120, 900,000 shares. And this would be the kind of day, if this were to close above 120, above the open, above 120, this would be the kind of day that you could mark as it turned around. All right, Matt sent me a message. I haven't been sleeping that well. All right, so GTII's 115. Go Logic is 295, up a penny on 4,410 shares. Don't sleep on that one, in my opinion. Don't sleep on that one. Logic had a lot of volume earlier. It is 53 cents, down 3 cents, 673. I wouldn't sleep on this one either. Logic is behaving extremely well. We can go through it. They had 2 news announcements today, and I think there's more news on the way in that one. Let me see. I think HNRC had news today. No. But we'll go over it. They had news on the 4th. I don't know why I didn't discuss it. I guess I was out of touch. And then Finger Motion. I think there's some news there. It's old that we should talk about. And that's about it for me. What do you guys got? You took half a sleeping pill. Was I up late because of a lady friend? Or was I thinking about her? Or was I worried about other things? I don't know. You got your dividend. That's good. Easy. Oh, thank you, Buck. Lucky is... I saw this dog walking. I walked back from the florist. I went to the florist today, and I walked back from the florist, and this is happiest dog ever. Had jumped maybe a 3 foot, well, 2.5 foot wall up playing in the hedgerows, and I walked by, and that dog got so excited to see me. And I was petting it. He was petting me. Oh, it's great. Dogs are the best. Well, we'll talk about physical silver. I'm not ready to because I want to kind of stay focused on what we're doing. But I personally, who was this? Sorry, Robert. My hair in a ponytail? I've never done that. Never done it. I think I'm just going to go get it cut tomorrow. I've never done a ponytail. I don't think my hair in high school was long. I could tip my head back and it would hit my belt line, but I never wore it in a ponytail. Ron Pivo, I don't know what I educated you on. Can't remember, but you're welcome. My goal mainly, as I did with one of the gentlemen who was great, his answer was great, regarding digital transactions, is just to get you guys thinking, have critical thoughts, that's all. What's the younger woman I recently dated? I don't know anyone named Younger. Aww. 6-month-old Labradoodle. Those are goofy dogs, but they're great. They're always so happy. Well, I found my razor, sure. But I need a haircut. My hair needs cut. All right, so let's talk about something rather than wasting our time on me. Well, Robert, you know what? I need to get a computer that's better than this setup. And I'm kind of stalled on it because I want to do Apple. And, I can't tell if I should just get a mini, get the studio, or get a laptop, or get a stand-up. And I've just come to the conclusion I'm going to wait till June and see what they announce. But Robert, I'd love, once I get a computer, the one I have downstairs, I have the old iMac 27-inch. I like the screen, but frankly, I was reading reviews about Apple, and I lost all sorts of data and pictures in that when they recalled it and replaced the hard drive without. Anyway, that's a while ago, but I still have it. Yet the memory's not enough for me to use the new, what do you call it? I don't know what to call it. The backbone of doing these kind of chats. So anyway, once I get one of those, Robert, I'd love to do a Time Life video or a chat. I think have you on and listen to your points of view, but I think the single undervalued asset out there is physical silver. It's also the most manipulated, so there's that. I think the resource or the assets that's the most mispriced is oil, and we'll find that out when we realize that the world's not awash in oil anymore. Cheap oil. There'll always be oil, but we'll always have Paris. Right now, what I see is really cheap assets, though, the ones that can boomerang and create significant financial independence are 2 or 3 or 4 of these stocks we're looking at right now. And I just want to stay focused on that, because it's just too much to direct attention everywhere. But Robert, I agree with you. Silver is very important. Well, I'd like to learn how you trade it. That would be great. Would I attend the Kramer's trial? I'm not, as much as I talk about those guys, I don't really care about them at all. I'm sure God loves them because he loves everyone, but I have absolutely no interest in Kurt, Seth, Kramer, Charlie Mayo. I think these are the most disappointing human beings you can ever imagine. But the reason I use their names is so you understand who's doing it. Vagueness is how Wall Street gets away with all this crap. Kurt Kramer is a one-man crime spree, and he's still doing it. But if he goes to trial, no, I won't be there. I won't be there. I mean, what do you do when you had a chance as a human being to make a difference? You had a chance to do well by your fellow human beings, and instead you turn out to be just a common criminal. I don't know how you live with yourself. I guess you sate your desires, your material things, and you, that thing in the back of your head that's called a conscience, you just ignore it. But there's no justification in the world for what Kurt Kramer has done. No justification at all. Company after company after company after company. By my count, it's 36 companies at least. CEOs, employees, shareholders, destroyed, while he eats oysters and raises his children to imitate him. It's absolutely disgusting. And he hides behind marginal legal minds, marginal moral minds, and he wins his battles on the margin. And he has an SEC that wants to hide the fact that Goldman Sachs and others make all their money in their prime brokerage from this crap. So he gets weak settlements and keeps doing it. But that doesn't hide the fact that he's breaking the law and he's stealing from you. And that's why I use his name. I would not show up at his trial. I don't even care. When he loses his money, when you guys make when the money comes over to your side of the table, even in just one of these stocks, I can just turn the page. Turn the page. If I never say the name Kurt Kramer again in my life, I'll be just fine. Would I run him over with my car? No, I would never kill anyone. He's not, Mario, he's not someone you want to engage with. He believes that he has a right to this money he steals. He thinks he's found a gray area that it's a loophole or something like that. He has lawyers protecting him. But he passed the Series 7. And it's clear to anyone who studies for and passes the Series 7 that the responsibility of those who use the United States securities markets as brokers, dealers, financiers. The responsibility is drive down the middle of the road, not on either side, not on the edges of the road, not where the gravel is or the ditches are, and argue that it's not clear. These securities laws are clear, and that's why he has lawyers there to make settlements. He knows what he's doing is wrong. He keeps doing it because all the way up in this society now, everyone's doing wrong. We've lost our moral compass. But that's not gonna, when he sits before St. Peter and they run the movie of his life and they get to the part where he's breaking your heart. Anyway, when they get to the parts where he's just stolen, what's his defense going to be? Well, it was a gray area. Goldman Sachs was doing it. I don't think that'll fly. I don't think that'll fly at the judgment day. I'm not saying that God in his infinite forgiveness won't put Kurt Kramer in heaven. I don't know. I don't know his other moral facets. But he's in this aspect of life, which is the entirety of his life as far as I can tell, he is morally corrupt, and he's hurting you and many of the people he hires and pays to help him are hurting you. He's nothing more than a hoodlum. He's just a hoodlum. And hoodlums wear nice clothes and, I don't understand how the planet works. But no, I wouldn't hit him with my car. I wouldn't go to his trial. And I just want you to win in GTII. And if there's a few other stocks that he's involved in, we'll try to win there too. But I really couldn't care less about Kurt Kramer, Seth Kramer, Charlie Mayo, or any of the group of Neanderthals they have in the boiler room. I don't care about John Hurley and his unattractive wife. I shouldn't. That's mean. I'm sure she's attractive to someone, but it's her inner being that I find unattractive. I don't mean to be mean about anything else. I don't care about Alpine. I don't care about Gary Gensler. They can all go lead their lives. I just want them to stop hurting you specifically. And I want them to stop hurting the American markets in general. Well, Mark, I hope the markets have closed. No refunds, no exchanges when I say it, you say I do. He's a hooligan. Thank you, Mario. I don't know. Never met Big Al, Alabama. Big Al, do you still call it the Wall of Northern Aggression? There are some New Yorkers with morals, but there are some. But you may never met him. That's true. Your statement is you never met him. Dreadlocks. Trump was found liable for battery and defamation. $5 million. in a New York jury? I think that's called a show trial. I don't believe that woman one bit. And if he did do all of this to her, why didn't she do it then? Oh, because it was hard for women to come forward then. That's not a good enough excuse. She's being paid just like that woman that went after this disappointing judge. I can't remember his name, but Krasich, whatever his name is. But let me see about that. 402. Let's look at some of the prices. Finger closed at 203. Oh no, 201. It's at 203 in the aftermarket. Logic closed at 55 cents. Go Logic closed at 295. And GTII closed at 113, down 7. So this wasn't the day where you had the key trend reversal, but it'll come. It'll come pretty soon, in my opinion. Let's go see what they have done to my song, Ma. It was the only thing I could do half right. Let me guess this judge is a woman. Let me guess. Jean E. Carroll's civil suit. The Manhattan federal court jury deliberated Tuesday in the civil case, which was to determine whether Trump was liable for the attack and whether Carroll was owed financial damages. Trump was found liable for defamation and battery, and Carroll is to be awarded a total of $5 million in damages. She can't even remember the time or when it happened. But hey, make all allowances for women, because when women say anything, they're telling the truth, except for Tara Reid. Carroll alleged in 2019 that Trump had raped her in 1995 or 96. It was so searing, I can't remember which year, in a dressing room at Bergdorf Goodman department store. Judge Lewis Kaplan. Is Lewis a woman or a man? I guess it's a man. The article's written by a woman. I don't know. There. Let's see. Where can you get unbiased? Where can you get unbiased coverage of this? You can, of course. So here's the real headline: Jury rejects rape claim. They reject the rape claim, but they find him liable for sexual abuse. What does that mean? They reject A New York City jury has found President Trump liable for sexual assault, but not rape. The jury awarded Carroll $20,000 in punitive damages for a battery claim in either 95 or 96. You know, this is a heck of a world when some obscure woman wearing red hair can make charges over 20 years old. The verdict came after less than 3 hours of deliberation by jurors. The jury did not find Trump liable for rape. Trump, who has long denied her allegation dating back to the mid-90s, accused Carol of using false claims as a way to promote her book. The 9-member panel began discussing verdicts at 11:50 a.m. after Judge Lewis Kaplan gave his final instructions and a 10-question verdict form. Carol, 78 years old, sued Trump in 2019, claiming the Republicans sexually assaulted her in 1995 or 1996. Which is it? In a dressing room. Because the alleged attack happened decades ago, Carol was originally barred from suing over sexual battery. What changed? Oh well. One trumped up charge down, 2 or 3 more to go. Oh well, I'm sick of everything. Hey, is that Jenny? I can do something for you. What did he write to you in the to me in the chat? Jay, I'm not going to read that one out because it's close to. If it was a traumatic event, she remembered. Yeah. I agree. Well, I don't. Hey, Crossbones. LGIQ, I think, can go to $1, give or take 10 or 20 cents very soon, and I think LGIQ can go to 150 to 2.25 in the next sort of 6 weeks. It's a joke. Redheads are awesome. I heard, and we'll find out, but I heard that Joe Biden is going to give his son a pardon. And the Democrats will say that's okay. The news will herald it. But if he does that, can you imagine? I think Finger can run after the market. They seem to have Finger under. Jenny, I can't see where your husband sent me anything, but I'll be glad to help or do something for you, and I'll be glad to respond to him. I just don't see it. What causes a stock like Logic to go up on no news? Well, I think there are buyers, Crossbones, and there was news. Let's look at the news. I think there's significant buying in Logic now that the ionic downward pressure is gone. This morning, Logic announced advanced programmatic ad platforms saving companies millions through powerful AI-powered fraud detection analytics. I won't read it to you. I did read it earlier. But what it's doing is emphasizing how much Logic, at least in this aspect, is an AI company. And that's not only a buzzword, but it's a significant driver of growth and revenues in a lot of companies. All right, at 1 p.m., Logic announced that they appointed Peter Board, Bordes, to the board of directors. That's amazing. He's a highly respected here, I'll read it. Boards has been a lifelong entrepreneur with more than 30 years of executive and board experience, leading private and public companies across ad tech, media, AI, fintech, and technology sectors. He also brings to Logic years of accomplishment in venture investing focused on disruptive technology, innovation, driving digital transformation. That's awesome. That is awesome. That was announced at 1 o'clock today, and maybe that's driving some of the buying. But in the other question you asked, I think Finger can trade in the after hours. Well, Crossbones, where you can find the news, obviously, is at their website. But where I'm reading right now is on E-Trade. I don't know if there's pollen in the air or something. Let me look at yeah, you can also go to OTC Markets, otcmarkets.com, and under the news, you see that Peter Boards has been appointed to the board of directors, and then under it, same day, that their powerful AI-powered fraud detection and analytics headline. So there's a source for news at OTC Markets. Jenny is telling me to end early and take care of myself. We all want you to look after myself. All right, Jenny, Rebecca. Here's what she's saying. Let me see what she's saying. I'll tell you what Jenny said. Oh, her husband. Remember, he came on when she was in the hospital. That was a very nice gesture that he made. And what he said, now let's see, this is what Jenny says he said. And I want to say it's Derek, but I can't remember for sure. She just said, all right, lucky boy. All right, lucky boy.
Carla's coming down,
so. The Carla's coming down?
Yeah, she's on a leash.
All right, Lucky, come here. He won't go down the stairs. Come on, Lucky, let's go inside. Come on, let's go inside.
She's on a leash, so.
Well, he's not, though, so I'll make sure.
Okay.
I'll make sure he's inside.
Hey.
Go inside, lucky boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. I'll let you out in a second. All right, he's inside. There comes Carla. There goes Carla. The red fox. I forgot to bring those in for you. Anyway, all right. Derek, yeah. Sorry, I'll wait till this particular bit of drama ends. When you live in the city, regardless of cost, you share space with people pretty closely. Well, now there's less noise. Now there's less noise. There'll be a little bit more noise here. One more time. One more time. One more time.
Matt, don't try it, 'cause the thing is on the back.
Okay, I'm just gonna sorry guys, we'll get going once this bit. All right, bye. Okay, let me let Lucky Boy out. Let me let Lucky Boy out. Lucky Boy, I love you. I missed you. I missed you very much. I missed you very much. I missed you very much. Missed him very much. All right, I really apologize for that interlude of boredom. So let's read what Jenny sent. Jenny said, "Hey William, Derek just I put the name in. He just said you need to take care and rest, self-care. We need you strong. You are amazing, but take a break. I asked if you could make today a short one and only go to 4:30. Eat, spend some time with Lucky, watch a movie." Well, I started late, Jenny. I started really late, so I might go a little longer. How about if I target 5 o'clock this time? Hey, Phil, Bill, not much better. We have not. What will the GTII's dividends value? Same as the common stock. Right now, it's worth, $1. What did the stock close at? The stock closed at 113, so that's the value of the restricted share right now. What do I think it would be worth once it's tradable 6 months from now? If the Trento mine deal goes through, it could be worth $5 a share. It could be worth 30. I don't know. Those are completely unknowable numbers at this point. But I would say that would be the best case scenario. If the stock squeezes and it's just 1-800 law firm without Trento, maybe it's worth a few dollars a share. I can't guess, 3 to 7 or something, but it'll be worth something. You don't walk a 90-year-old man a mile around the block. I know, Big Al. I've been asking everyone what to do, and I will tell you that Lucky this morning when I took him out, I wanted to do a short walk, but he just pulls me where he wants to go, and we go very, very slowly. But Big Al, I'm gonna follow your advice. I just have to get advice locally how to do it, whether I get him in a cage. I mean, not a cage, a wagon or some other contraption. But I'm definitely, Big Al, going to start very quickly restricting his walks to. They're already. By the way, Big Al, his walks now are a matter of a few blocks in two directions. We used to walk all the way up into Calorama, way up into up. What's that area up 14th Street? It's called something Heights. Way up there we would walk. We'd walk to Georgetown, all the way down even to the harbor and back. We'd walk to the White House and back. We never do any of that anymore. Nothing. We don't go anywhere near those kind of lengths. But we do go, I would say, you're probably right. We probably go about 10 blocks. Probably about 10 blocks, and in two directions. You're right. That's a bit of a walk for a 100-year-old guy. So I'm gonna follow your advice, Big O. 91 years old. Well, he could be 12. He could be 12, but it doesn't change the story. Aw, 15 years old. 15 years old. I will take it easy on him. I will take it easy. And he sleeps a lot now, Big Al. And when I went up to Capitol Hill, he got really anxious. So I don't leave him alone anymore at all. I mean, if I have to go to the store or something, he's got to deal with that. But I don't go for extended periods of time anymore. And I try to give him. He's not eating that much. It's not that he doesn't eat. He just doesn't eat as much as he used to. So. I sure am going to miss him. But I want to make sure every day he has is a good one. And what he loves to do, Big Al, he likes to go. There's a liquor store where they give him a treat or two. There's two hardware stores. They give him treats. There's Finnish food shop that gives him treats. And he just loves. And then there's the dog food store. They give him treats, and he just loves that interaction. So. That's a good idea, car ride with the window down. That's a good idea, Big Al. Just because, Big Al, you probably know more than I do. It's my theory that these dogs need smells, but they need, I don't know what to call it, information. They need sensory inputs so that when they dream at night, they can have good dreams. That's what I think. Now, Matt W., what I understand with logic is, and I, just to be clear, I've never recommended logic for the squeeze, but what I understand for logic is you could get that stock rallying to $3 here in the short term based on some sort of beginning of a squeeze. But what I think is a commitment to logic right now that I'm comfortable in projecting is that I think you have 3x to 4x over the next 2 weeks to 2 months. And I think you have over 10x from here by the end of the year in logic. But there is a potential for a squeeze. Go Logic is the one that I think is going to squeeze. Both could. Don't get me wrong. Both could. But I think Go Logic is a stripped down version of everything we're looking at. Go Logic has just over 1 million shares in its float. It has some of these people that shorted the stock, anticipating huge release of stock from its 144 legend this month. Well, guess what? Brent pulled back that S4. Or S3. I think it's the S4, and that's not there anymore. So you've got about almost 350 million. It's just 350,000 shares. 350,000 shares of Go Logic failed to deliver, failed to locate, counterfeit, which needs to be covered, and there's no supply coming to drive the stock price down, and those guys are truly and well trapped. So that one I think could have a squeeze, and I'm willing to say it'll have a squeeze at least to the minimums of other squeezes we've seen, which is basically 10x from here. Is it? I mean, there's no guarantee of anything, but that's what I think could happen with Go Logic. So iMen's is rivaling Jeff for humor. My wife told me I was rude for yawning when we were arguing. I told her I wasn't yawning. I thought it was my turn to speak. Now, I think Canadian Logic shares are going to start trading again on the NEO, but they would, hey Charlie Mac, but Brent would like to get them off the NEO. The NEO was a disastrous detour into short selling. All right, Kodak earnings today. Kodak has the potential for a squeeze. Yeah, Morty, of course. They don't know. They do need to smell what's going on. I know, Big Al. I believe you. Big Al, I believe you. And I also know you've taken care of a lot of dogs. I went to the massage parlor for the first time to stop thinking about GTII, and it was self-service. And I bet the ending was happy. I mean, the beginning was happy. It had a happy beginning. Oh, sorry. Let's look at Kodak. Let's look at Kodak. Kodak is 341 aftermarket, 345 on the close. They just released their numbers. They had revenues of 278 million, down from 290. Profit of 50 million, up from 33 million from quarter one. 52% increase. Gross profit percentage of 18% with a compared to 11% for Q1. Yeah, I'd say those are pretty good. I would say those are pretty good numbers. Yeah, I just looked at their numbers. I think it's tremendous. I think it's tremendous. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Where do I buy my extensive wardrobe other than business casual? I own 2 sweatshirts and one of them is broken. Well, I need to upgrade. But there's nothing like knowing a good haberdasher, and I do know one. But I also anyway, I don't know the answer to that. You know, it's all over the place. I like their earnings. What's new with old MMTLP? Well, my understanding is there's an old saying, the dog care and training business. The idiot usually is on the other end of the leash. I agree. They don't know who the shorts are in Go Logic, but they've narrowed it down to 2 sources, but they're not quite sure yet. M-Echo. Oh, yeah, the calls at 5, that would be worth listening to. The thing I don't know, JM photographer, is what, because I don't have access to all the big boys' whisper numbers, but what's going to drive what happens to the stock price is what the expectations were. Did they come under expectation or over expectation? But to me, the numbers look great. Why? Because it's profitable. It's as simple as that. Hey, Wizard Gray Balls. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. We've only got 25 minutes left. Otherwise, Jenny's going to send her husband out to have a talk to me. So whatever you want to talk about, I am looking to see if there's further news on Logic. No, but those are 2 powerful bits of news today for Logic. You're stuck with MMTLP, COSM, CRTD, GTII MM. Well, yeah, of that panoply, I think you're going to get your money back, or much, much better, with MMTLP. You're not going to lose. COSM, I think's dead. I don't see any reason to own that. I could be wrong. You'd have to check with Frank Benedetto on that. He's he's an expert on COSM. CRTD, as you know, is now Vocal. I think that CEO just doesn't understand what's going on. On the other hand, he is, I think, honest. I think he is knowledgeable about back offices. I think Vocal is going to distribute the OG collection or sell it, and it's worth, Sam, much more than what Vocal's trading for right now. So with that, you have a choice. Just get out and never look back, buy some more and average down, or just hold what you have. But I think you're going to see higher prices and a return to your cost basis, whatever your cost basis is, by the distributions that Jeremy has planned out. I as I've said many times, CRTD was and is a busted trade, but it's become an investment now, and I think you're going to make money on that. GTII, I just don't know how I can explain it any differently. We got into it because there was a trapped short, a criminal. His name is Kurt Kramer, and it's in my judgment. And instead of covering, he's just made the problem worse. But what's the definition of the problem? The definition of the problem is that he has sold stock that doesn't exist. He increases the supply of shares out there almost to infinity. It's not, but he has unlimited ability to sell stock under the Gary Gensler regime. Stock that doesn't exist. Well, that's the definition of why we got into GTII. So it's hardly that we can be surprised that the stock comes down. My contention is it's going to end. And so I think GTII but you can get out. I'm not pressuring you to stay in it. But GTII is similar to Vocal. Now at $1, you can either buy more, sell it, or just hold on. But I think GTII has some triggers, has a trap short, and at some point you're going to get an uplift, in my judgment. I can be wrong. That's going to pay for all your troubles. MMAT, I think, did a disastrous financing, and that stock's being crushed by the criminals. So, Sam, unless they change these markets, if you're not here for the short squeezes, I wouldn't own COSM. I wouldn't own Vocal. GTII, unless you're here for the short squeeze. The only one on your list, MMAT, has a tremendous story that's exciting, I think. But it has a terrible financing, and these criminals have destroyed companies as big as United or Dole Foods or cancer companies. Oh, you're back. Oh, hang on. Lucky, come on. Lucky, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. All right, I got him in. Hey, Carla. Hey, Carla. I know you want to say hi to her. I know you do.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I know you want to say hi to her. Okay, you can come out. You can come out. I know. She says hi too. I know. She says hi too. Good boy. I know. You don't like being left alone, do you? Anyway, Sam, that's all I can say on those. I think the criminals continue in the entire marketplace to counterfeit shares, and the normal laws of supply and demand are therefore sent out the window. The normal laws of cops and robbers are sent out the window. No one cares about this. We've been fighting it. The facts are that no ticket goes away on Wall Street, and they have to cover these trades. When they do, I don't know, but we watch it every day. We say, "Oh my gosh," and you tell your friends, and they say, "Oh, you're crazy." Who's crazy and who's evil is Wall Street right now. And but most people don't know about it. You know more about it than most people on Wall Street. But if it's not your cup of tea, because unless Gary Gensler grows a pair, this is going to be the future in these markets. So as soon as the premise to buy many of these stocks is that the setup is there for a short squeeze. And there may be others to buy. But basically, if one of these squeezes and you have a nice payday, I would stay out of the American stock market. That means don't get into ETFs, don't get into mutual funds, don't get into managed money. Stay out of it. Because this fraud that you're witnessing and your friends are judging you on, it's everywhere in the market. That's why they're doing nothing about it. Goldman Sachs one day will go down in one day because the criminals will start counterfeiting shares of Goldman Sachs and drive it down. And Gary Gensler will be standing there bemused and have no answer. Hey Jennifer, how are you? Did you hear Lucky Boy? There was another dog big. It was Lucky, but he saw another dog and he wanted to say hi. But they're both old. The dog upstairs is a very nice dog, but she's old and it's their territory. So I think he would get along just fine with her, but she's a little bit, she snapped at him the other day. He didn't do anything, but anyway, it's best just to keep them apart. I don't know, Peter. Perry. I need a hair. I'm gonna go get a haircut tomorrow. I decided today. Sam lost 70K GTI today. More panic once over 70K today. Oh, lost 70K buy GTI buy today. Well, Sam, I think they're going to drive it lower, Sam. And if you can't bear that, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's going to last very long. I think if they get it below $1, it's going to snap right back up, and it could be 150 before you know it. But Sam, I'm really tired of explaining the reason it's down is because of criminality. It's not because you have made a bad judgment in your due diligence. It's not because if the laws were enforced, it wouldn't go up. It's just criminality. And I can't do anything about it. So, for me, Sam, when it's at 8 or 7 or 5, I'm thinking they're going to squeeze it. But no, they're able to come in and sell 100 million more shares since September that don't exist. And Gary Gensler goes after Kim Kardashian. Oh, Kimmy, look at me. I'm powerful. You wouldn't have dated me in high school, but how about now? Kimmy. He doesn't care about the over-the-counter market. So, Sam, I just don't know what to tell you. I think you should have gotten out long before this. Because it's obviously you have too big of a position. It's driving you crazy. And so now I hesitate to say get out now. Because I think it's near the bottom. But the fact is, Sam, if it goes to 60 cents, you're going to lose 40% from here. You'll lose more. I mean, any point in time in a stock, particularly a volatile stock, particularly an over-the-counter stock, you have to assume it can go down 50%, just as well as it can go up 100%. It's just the nature of the beast. I cannot tell you it's not going to go lower. In fact, I think they're going to try tomorrow morning. They tried this morning. It got it to 102 or something like that. I think they're going to try their darndest to see if there's any GTC orders, stop-loss orders, underneath $1. They want to hurt you. They want to destroy you. It's not that they care about you. It's just their greedy little hands want as much money as they can get. But Sam, the only way to get out of the trap is to take your losses and never look back. Or say, you know what? I hate being here. I hate it. But I'm not selling. And I'm going to put my GTC orders in and I'm going to get about my life. I'm going to go mow the lawn. I'm going to go paint my house. Take a trip to Brazil. But Sam, you can't. You're destroying yourself. You can't spend your day thinking about it. I'm down. Oh, I'm down. Act. 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 I think the wrong decision would be to sell it now. But I can't speak. I can't give you advice for your own situation. I don't know your situation. But stop the pain. Stop it. The other thing you say is, you know what? These bastards, I've had enough of it. I've done my due diligence. I believe there's 300 million shares short. I believe there's going to come a day when Alpine has to buy back their shares. And in that environment, I, Sam, know that the sellers will stop selling and then there will be buying in the error account without regard to price. So I'm holding on for that day. That day will come. But it'll be one day. It'll be 1 week. They've been shorting it for 2.5 years. So you're looking for lightning in a bottle. You're looking for a straw in the haystack. And, well, I'm down more today. I'm down. Oh, now I'm really down more. Just stop it. Get out. Then you can't be down anymore. Then you know you're lost and you're done. Or sit down with a pad of paper, write down why you're going to stay in it. Rethink it. Write down, 1, I expect Trento Mines to go through. What are my odds on it? 50%. I expect 1-800 law firm to go through. What are my odds on it? 50%. I expect the dividend to take hold and make it go up. What do I think the odds on that are? 30%. I'm making it up for you. You got to pick your own odds. West Christian lawsuit that's going after 50 John Does. And he won't quit. He won't settle. What do I think, Sam, think the odds on the success are that? 70%. There's other potential opportunities. What are the odds? I'm only going to give that maybe 10%. And Alpine, FINRA has announced they want to delist Alpine. What do I give odds on that? I'm going to say, Sam, are going to say that's 80%. What are the odds that Gary Gensler comes in and enforces Securities Act of 1934 and 1933? Sam, are going to say 0. So that's 0. What are the odds that Kurt Kramer, Alpine, and the people in Switzerland can continue to sell this stock down in an idiotic trade where the most they can make is $1 on new sales, and they risk $1,000 a share? I, Sam, think that's going to end. Okay, write all that down on a column. Put your risk of success along it, and then come up with a target in your mind of how much that's worth per share. Multiply that by the risk factor. Add it all up and come with a target down below. Set your GTC orders somewhere around that target. And then once you've done all of that, Sam, on the bottom say, okay, how long do I think it's going to take? People are saying it could happen soon, but it hasn't happened yet. So therefore, it's not going to happen soon. I mean, there's no logic in that, but that's human beings. As human beings, oh, it's taken 2 years, so it's never going to happen. That's how our emotions work. But Sam, come up with a time frame. Okay, I think it could happen in 2 weeks, but the likelihood is I'm going to have to wait until the end of the year. I'm making it up, Sam, for you. I'm as if I'm you. Okay, it's going to take till January of 2024 for this to happen. I'm going to put my GTC orders in for 60 days at a time, and I'm going to renew them. And guess what? If it doesn't happen, I'm going to stop looking at my account until January of 2024, because nobody can make me sell the stock. It's not on margin, and I'm just going to hold it out till then. And if you're not comfortable with that, then, Sam, what you have to say is, you know what, I got in too deep, and I can't live like this anymore. I'm going to sell right now, and I'm going to reduce my holdings so that I can hold the rest of it for 6 to 9 months or a year. I'll sell half here, and I'll use that to pay my bills for the next 6 months. And during the 6 months, maybe the other half does what I think it's going to do. But Sam, you got to act. You have to stop going, oh, I'm down again, and I'm down again, and I'm down again. And what is the definition of acting? Selling it, which means you lock in your loss and you have no hope of recovery, and you go on with your life. Averaging down, buying more, or holding it. That's the decision you should make. Just making one of those 3 decisions, or an amalgam, is action. It's action. And then write down your goals again. Start again, and then write down what confidence you have in the 8 or 9 or 10 catalysts in GTI. Hold it. I'll buy more now, or I'm going to sell it, or I'll do a mixture. Same decision. Write it down. What are the reasons you're making that decision tonight? Act on it. Put a time frame on it, and then get about your life. On MMTLP, why do you guys obsess about MMTLP? There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. You can call Congress. You can write letters. But there's nothing else you can do on MMTLP. Stop worrying about MMTLP. Stop it. Sam, they're not going to give you 0 on your MMTLP. You're not going to get 0 on MMTLP. You're not going to lose more money on MMTLP. You can't, by definition. They stop trading. So whatever you put in it, you're not going to lose more. Worst case, they'll give you your money back. Absolute worst case, they'll give you your money back, which is a terrible result. Terrible result. But you know what you have going for you in MMTLP? Instead of moaning about it, just get about your life. You have 4 or 5 insiders that own 40 to 60% of the company. They own the same shares you do. They're going to negotiate for you for themselves, but it's going to be for you. Stop worrying about MMTLP. Get over it. Tonight, Sam, take a notebook down. Go through the reasons why NetBridge is a good company. Go through the reasons in your head why you bought into MMAT and MMTLP and Torchlight. Tell yourself, if you need to, those were good reasons. It was a great oil company. MMAT has a tremendous technology. And then write, the criminals are destroying the stock markets. It's not me. And stop being the victim. Stop being the victim. Use your brains and your action. Use action. And so you write down on MMTLP. I forget everybody's name right now, and I'm not going to try to remember. But there's 4 or 5 insiders who have said that they won't accept less than $600 a share. Is that realistic? I don't know, but that's what they've said in writing. So, and then write down the system, the United States security system has never, no one has ever lost money in the United States security system by failure to settle ultimately on the other side of the trade. I'm trying to say it differently than people have lost by selling, they've lost by companies going bankrupt, and they've lost by the criminality driving companies into bankruptcy. But the purchase of MMTLP shares that you made is a sacred contract as long as there's a United States security system. On the other side, they owe you what you bought. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. And what can you do about it? What does worrying about it every day help? So when you write it down in your notebook, write down the worst case, and I just told you the worst case, and I'll give you my numbers. I paid $7.86 a share for my MMTLP. $7.86 a share. So I would write down my worst case. I'm getting $7.86 back minus costs. That's my worst case. What's my upside? Well, Sam, you got to come up with your own. But in my case, I think my upside middle range is $100 a share. What's my upside in a settlement that might get organized by those 4 people? Maybe it's $600 a share. I'll write all those down. That's my range. And then I'll write on the bottom, what do I think the time frame is, Sam? Well, it's been 90, 100 days, 121 days. We know that there's a demand for the blue sheets. We know that Mark Belisle has done a yeoman's job of sending out a request to get the data. And the judge said end of the month. And we know the criminals do not want discovery. So Sam, act. Write it down and say to yourself, the system is going to go after these guys after a month. So they are going to do something by the end of May, middle of June. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Make a conscious decision to stop being a victim. And then right under there, what if it doesn't get done by the middle of June? How much longer do I think it's going to take? Could this take another 6 months, another year? Think it out in your head. Well, if it goes the lawyer route, it could take another 7 years. But does that make any sense to the system? No, it doesn't. So write down the targets you have and then get about your life. There's nothing your worrying is going to do to the value of MMTLP. I'm sorry to say. You, me, we don't matter to the settlement. There's 5 guys that do. And the good thing is their interests are aligned with yours, Sam. So that's MMAT, that's MMTLP, that's GTII. Cosmo, I think, is hopeless. I personally think that the CEO outsmarted everybody. He saw a lot of emotionalism, a lot of energy. He jumped in front of it, captured money, did a deal with the criminals, whether he knew it or not, and COSM got $40 million into their account. Do I see that stock doing any rocket ship from here? No, I don't. Could it be a steady $4 stock for the rest of your life? Sure. Should you hold on to it to recover whatever you lost, in my opinion? No, you shouldn't. But, Sam, don't listen to me. Go back through the news stories. Go to Frank Benedetto's site and follow the advice he gives on Cosmo, because take his advice if you want. Listen to some of Lou's old videos on COSM. But make a decision. Am I going to hold COSM? Am I going to buy more? Am I going to sell it, take my losses, and redeploy that money? Hey, here's an idea. I could take my losses in COSM and put it in GTII. I could take my losses in COSM and put it in MMAT. I don't know, you got to write it down. But act. Stop being the victim. The information is there. You know the criminals sell this down. I'm not doing this so you can be a victim. I'm doing this so you can be empowered to make decisions and take losses when they happen. Realize the market involves losses sometimes, and then redeploy the assets while they're still worth something. But personally, in my opinion, I think COSM will take a while to realize significant gains. But I don't know. I really emphasize listen to Frank Benedetto on that one. What was the other one you had? I think I covered every single stock you have. But Sam, take a notebook out tonight. Dare to look at your cost basis. Dare to look at how many shares you have. Print the last several news stories on all of the stocks. Have a cup of coffee and a yellow underliner and go down each one and say, well, does this make sense to me? Print out charts of each one and look at the charts and say, does that look good to me or does that? Then risk each one. Risk it specifically for each catalyst, but then risk each story in your own mind. And then deploy, redeploy, sell, add to one, and reset your whole clock, your whole strategy for the next 6 months, next 9 months. But stop being the victim. This is a big boys game. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in trading in the over-the-counter markets. And when you hit the buy button, when you hit the sell button, when you decide to sit there and say, oh my God, the stock's down again, I'm losing more. Those are all your decisions. I hate to say it. Why? Why do I know that? Because the only one that lives with the consequence of those decisions is you. So it's horrible. Look, my portfolio was smashed just like yours by the same criminals. But I can sit here and go, oh God, oh. And I get anxious, I get anxiety, but take an action. For example, Sam, one thing I did last week, a very small thing. I bought 500 shares of GoLogic. Well, what does that do for me? Virtually nothing. But 500 shares at $3, $1,500. It's very small. It's like, why bother? Well, what happens if GoLogic goes to $30? Hi, baby. If GoLogic goes to $30, I've got 45 grand. Now, will it happen? I have no idea. Is it worth the punt? Yes. Does it distract me, Sam, from waiting and bemoaning everything else? Yes. Does it give me a feeling of empowerment that I'm taking action? Yes. Is it going to work? I have no idea. I think so. You've listened to Brent 3 times on my calls. 1 got taken down, so I can't prove that one anymore. But there are 3 times where Brent came out and said he is going to do everything in his power. He said his lawyers are telling him he shouldn't say this, but he's going to do everything in his power to cause the shorts to squeeze in his stock. So that's one thing you could do. Buy 100 shares. If it goes up, you sell it. And what do you do then, Sam? You come back and you look at your portfolio with courage, with action. And you say, you know what? I just made 30 grand on GoLogic. I'm going to take 5,000 of it and take my wife on a holiday. But you know what I'm going to do with the other 25 grand? I'm going to put it all into MMAT. Or I'm going to put it all into GTII. Or I'm going to break it out into 3 parts, GTII, MMAT, and COSM. I don't know. But start acting, deciding, dealing with the hand you have. I'm down on Voca. That's the one, CRTD. I'm down on that. I paid $1.50. I'm down 95%. Okay, you are. Face the hard truths that to go now from 8 cents back to $8, 8 cents to 8 cents to 80 cents. Sorry, 8 cents to 80 cents is 10x. That's normally extraordinarily difficult to achieve. So maybe you start saying to yourself, you know, I should have gotten out of Vocal, but maybe I sell some here and I buy some GoLogic, or I sell some Vocal here and I buy MMAT, or I just hold on to Vocal. But my goal is no longer to get $1.50. I'll get out if it goes to 30. I don't know. You have to make your own choices. But start taking action. Start making decisions. Start having plans about your portfolio. Stop being helpless. There's opportunity here. There's 6 or 7 or 8 of these stocks that each could go up 10x, 50x, 100x. Does that mean you ride it all the way down and then just sit? I don't think so, Sam. I think you can at a minimum do some tax loss planning. It'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel good. You know what? I'm going to sell half my Vocal at a complete loss. And I'm going to, in 30 days, if it's still down here, I might buy it back. If it goes up, I don't care. I'm going to take that loss. But let me tell you about Vocal, by the way, Sam. You know this already. They were in an agreement to be purchased by GTII. The CEO walked away from that agreement. Then he went on the space call and he said, I want to wring all the hot money out of my stock. Well, he achieved that goal. He got rid of all the hot money in Vocal. He did achieve that goal. It's one of the most cockamamie goals I've ever heard of, but he achieved it. Okay, so we're flat on the back right now. It round trip back down. But what you've learned about Vocal, Sam, is that the OG collection is worth right now 10 cents to $1 a share, depending on which analysis you believe. You know that GTII made an offer to buy the whole company. You know that he has suggested spinning off the OG collection onto Upstream. And again, worth 10 cents to his high. And this is what he wrote in his press release. And he can go to jail if he's lying. He said it could be worth $1. Well, I did the arithmetic, but it could be worth $1 a share. 10 cents to $1 a share for one distribution. There's 2 more companies he can distribute, Sam. Stop looking at the price that the criminals drive it down to and thinking, oh God, I'm losing more, which you are in the moment. There's no question. And it's happening to me too, Sam. It's happening to me too. But you have to revisit, has the story changed? Is this because the criminals are criming and Gary Gensler is gloaming? Okay, I'm willing to wait. I'm stuck here. I can deal with it. Or do I need this money? But just make some decisions, Sam. Act. And acting can be spending the time looking at it and you say, you know what, I'm going to stay right where I am. But that's an action. That gives you power. That empowers you against these criminals. You don't have to sit back and look every morning and go, oh, God, they're doing it to me again. And if it goes below $1, I'm going to lose more money. And I'm not trying to diminish the pain. I'm telling you, I'm not going to give you the numbers. It's not anybody's business. But I am feeling massive financial pain myself from the downturns in these stocks. And that's as far as I'm going to go on it. So I'm not diminishing the experience you're having. But I'm saying you are a professional. You have the information. You can act. Right now I've got ownership in these 5 stocks. I'm going to lighten up on this one. I'm going to add more to that one. And Sam, I do have sympathy for you, for everybody, me. These stocks all move together. It would be so much easier if one would go up, and then it would help everything. That hasn't happened yet. Why? Because the criminals, I think, are trying to destroy us. And then they can get back to destroying the faceless U.S. securities market as they strip money up into the outskirts of New York because they're just 2 brothers, young brothers, trying to make a living. Anyway, Sam, I'm very optimistic. That portfolio that you laid out, I'm very optimistic for what's going to happen to GTII. I think you're going to be happy I'll give a big range within 90 days. I think it could be a lot sooner. And I think GTII, every other time the criminals have driven GTII down to $1 from high prices, it's always rallied back with alacrity to 2, to 3, to 8. So I think you're going to get another chance like that in GTII. In MMAT, I think it's a gorgeous company. Gorgeous company. The problem is they did a really crappy financing. Really crappy. But the gamble you're taking there is that the orders for the battery will come in more quickly with huge revenues than the destruction the criminals can do to the stock. And I think I think at these prices, that's a really worthwhile punt right now, because the revenues that could come in from that battery technology are ginormous. So I don't know much about MMAT, but that's my opinion on MMAT. COSM, I'm as neutral as you can be on that. I think there's better places to get upside than COSM. But however, I'm admitting to you, I don't know enough about it, so I would go check Frank Benedetto's pages and get his updates. He's an IR guy for the company. He's paid to interact with you. Give him a call. The company pays him for that role. And before you make a decision, get a lot of information from him. There's one other stock you had there. Oh, MMTLP? You can't do anything. There's nothing you can do. I don't know why you even worry about it. I don't know why you torture yourself with it. You can't do with anything about MMTLP. For one, I think you're in a great position with MMTLP. If the only thing you might be able to do is badger your broker to get those shares sent to the transfer agent, if you really want to be in NextBridge. I don't know if you do. But anyway, Sam, there are options. You are better educated on this than the majority of people. You're in the top 1% of knowledge on this criminality. You're in good stocks, I think, in terms of the potential for massive upside movement. I think you've made a good portfolio. So I am here to help. I am here to keep telling the story. But I'm not here to create victims. I'm here to create victory. I'm here to help create financially independent people. Each and every one of you, I want to be independent from this criminal United States securities and banking system. And so I'm sorry if I'm being tough, but I want you to be tough. I want you to be tough. We're talking about life-changing rewards, particularly in particularly in GTII. But I think you might be surprised what you get in MMTLP. So anyway. Sam, by the way, this is a discussion I have with myself all the time. And you should see my notebooks. And then I never look at them again. It's just the process of doing the exercise. And like I just told you, one of the little things I did to give myself a sense of action and a sense of power is I bought 500 shares of GoLogic. Am I going to be right? I think so. Is it going to go to 30? It has a good chance. But you know what? If it went to 10, if it went to 5, I'd be thrilled, and I'd be able to do something. I could, even if it went to 5, I could sell it and buy a couple of thousand shares of GTII, and I would do that with glee. I would feel like I was taking advantage of what the criminals have done. And that, I guess that's the final thing I'll say, Sam. You can control your attitude here. I know how awful it is. It's horrible for me, too. And I mean that. But what you have to know, Sam, is the criminals are trapped. The Kramers are really trapped. Apparently, they told someone up in New York, hey, we already made all our money on GTII. And now we're just waiting for the lawsuits. Such a sad state of affairs for the markets. But they've already made their money. They're millions and millions, tens of millions. And now they wait for the lawsuits. Guess what? This time, there's not going to be a perfunctory lawsuit. The company will take it to the wall. So enjoy his illusions. My point, Sam, is these guys are trapped. They're not going to win this time. And they're highly leveraged. You're not leveraged in your situation. You have a choice, believe it or not. You can sell. You can buy more. It's going to come a day where they're going to have no choice, and the buy-in is going to rip them apart. Now, you're right. They can walk away from the LLCs. They can fly to I don't know. I can't think of a extradition place, free place. The Mauritius Islands or something. But they can get, they'll have to leave their U.S. life behind. That's coming for the Kramers in my judgment. That is coming. So as badly as you feel, Sam, if there's any way, the eye of the tiger, you can just realize that the Kramers are trapped. Life as they know it is going to end. And they won't be able to pretend otherwise. John Hurry, his life, is, as he knows it, is going to end. These other little gnats and mosquitoes that take $500, $100 a day out of the market, their life is going to end. As the ease of making this money is going to end. Gary Gensler, he'll go down in ignominy. Ignominy. He won't be forgotten, and he won't be remembered. He'll go down in ignominy as the markets collapse. Even his friends at Goldman Sachs will turn on him as the markets turn on Goldman Sachs. So I guess, Sam, what I'm trying to say is your feelings right now aren't real. That's what I guess I'm trying to say. And by taking out a notebook and printing out for yourself, don't listen to me, print out for yourself all the news stories. Take a red pen and a blue pen and a pencil and a yellow marker and write down things, ask your questions, highlight things, look at the charts, make some decisions. That gives you strength. That gives you strength. But know that the Kramers are going down. They've never met anybody like Ham. They've never met anybody like the GTII Army. And they've never met anybody like you, Sam. I have every confidence in you that you can make, not only survive this, that you're going to make financial freedom, financial independence, a reality in your own life in the next decisions you make about these 6 or 7 stocks that you have. I have 6, I think. And I think, to me, if I remember your portfolio properly, I think the next ones that are going to move for you are MMTLP and GTII. And I think MMAT is going to be an investment, but it's going to be a great investment. I think Vocal is an investment, not a trade, but I think it'll be a really good one if you want to stay in it. And I have to admit, I'm sort of neutral to, unexcited about COSM. Yeah, I think that's right, Big Al. Gensler will go down that way. The shorts are in trouble. Well, Dave M., the Kramers may have scurried off. They're still in New York as far as I know it. But they've taken their money, and a lot of these short sellers take their money offshore. But remember, the United States went after Saddam Hussein's money. They went after Putin's money. They can go after the money that's offshore if they want to. The Kramers probably are no longer trading GTII. But the Kramers are quite active, just starting the beginning stages of several companies that they financed through their Alexandria, Virginia offices. So they're very much still in the middle of their crime spree. Who's this? Mexican. Gary Gensler will go down, but the buddies that helped while working us, they won't forget. Gary Gensler will be hired at a drop of a dime when it goes. That's it. That's true. Gary Gensler is operating. The reason he's so careful is he wants to be hired for board positions on Wall Street and Silicon Valley. He's got $100 million. He wants to make hundreds of millions more. He wants the respect and glory that'll come from being on the boards and maybe being an executive, maybe having a posh professorial job, maybe becoming Secretary of Treasury under a Hillary Clinton administration or a Kamala Harris administration. He wants all of that. After 6 months, so a dollar value will show up. You mean on the dividend? Yeah, I think that's right, Black Wolf. I think that the system will not show your restricted shares as having a value because it's not really in your account right now. So that's probably... He has a chance with Kim. Yeah, if he got up to $1 billion, he could have a chance with Kim. Criminals. I like that, Warren. They're the criminals, or the criminals. I like that. Hey, Robert Kepke. Sam Haynes, you were kicked out of this channel 4 times? Well, I'm not kicking you out, so we'll try to keep that. We'll try to keep that. Cryptic, she's not my type. She's not my type. On MULN, Tommy, I think MULN, I think MULN also did terrible financing. I think MULN could get big contracts. I think this electric vehicle marketplace hasn't shaken out yet, but it could take years to shake out. There was one electric vehicle company that went out of business. I forget the name of it. I have read, and you would know more than I, that some of the battery technology that's being worked on might be obsolete soon. So that's interesting. I'm more interested in batteries than the electric vehicles, because a vehicle is a vehicle is a vehicle. But an electric battery, oh my gosh, that's what, to me, that's Tesla's amazing thing, is the battery banks they're trying to build in Australia and elsewhere so that you can use solar power, hydropower, wind, any kind, maybe they can learn a way when you're exercising at the gymnasium to put a generator on each bicycle. And if you had proper batteries, that electricity could be stored in those batteries. Batteries are to me, that's the holy grail. Batteries. Not the vehicles. Vehicles are, Volkswagen, Hyundai, vehicles are everywhere. But anyway, I think MULN has a similar framework as MMAT in that they both did difficult financings, but if the revenue outstrips those financing, it is so much better, they can come out of it. Yes, Sam, I think that's right. MULN, I think, is a good it's an investment. One, fix it. How will they pay for the roads when their devious plan of destroying the oil industry comes to pass? Well, I don't think the oil industry will ever be destroyed. Even AOC drives, even AOC flies, even AOC wears dresses that say tax the rich that are made out of the products that come from oil. AOC wears glasses that comes from oil. AOC uses Bic pens. That comes from oil. The shoes AOC wears, the belts, the flip-flops her husband wears, it all comes from oil. So I just don't think they're going to be able to destroy the oil industry. I think you make a really good point. Rather than spending all that trillions of dollars bombing deserts because George W. Bush was upset that Saddam Hussein called his daddy a name, it would have been better to make those same men and women wealthy beyond their dreams, those war profiteers, make them wealthy beyond their dreams, but take those trillions and instead of uselessly bombing deserts and killing brown-skinned people and maiming brown-skinned women and daughters, and assaulting mountains and putting our soldiers at risk. Instead of that, spend the same trillions of dollars. Let those profiteers make their same profits on it, but build out high-speed rail, build out state-of-the-art ports, build out highways that are second to none, build out transit systems inside of cities that no one in the world can match. Build out power grid that can survive the stresses coming. Why didn't we spend the trillions of dollars? Build out our schools and our hospitals. Build out places where men and women can learn trades. They can learn how to be plumbers or carpenters or truck drivers, and instead of going to MIT. And we could have spent the trillions here, and those people that got so rich, they could have still made all that money because they need to be paid, and the bankers could have still gotten rich on all of it. War is a big profit machine for the bankers. But instead of going over there, what if they had spent that money here? I tell you, here, I live in D.C. It's embarrassing. This is apparently the most powerful city in the world. And I don't know about Cairo, but there's so-called third world nation cities that have better highways and roads and sidewalks than D.C. has. Wouldn't it? Yeah, so I'm agreeing with you. Wouldn't it have been wonderful to build out our infrastructure instead of bombing the hell out of other people's infrastructure? What this country needs is more cell towers. Send more money to the Ukraine. Didn't they try that in California? I don't know. I don't know if they did really, Dominic, but and the reason I say that is they didn't accomplish it. Matthew Parker, I like hydrogen fuel cell technology. Less waste, and the exhaust is H2O. Yeah, I like hydrogen fuel cells. It's not proven either that is where we'll go. They will never have a commercial airplane that runs. Well, one fix-it, man. Would you get on a plane? I wouldn't. I wouldn't get on a plane that wasn't run by fuel. Tommy Moy, hamster isn't saving Kodak yet, but we will. We'll get to it. What's the Robert tweet? Flip-flops were thongs before underwear. Yeah, I remember them being called thongs. And obviously, Thomas, the reason thongs are called thongs is the obvious similarity. One fix-it. They cannot replace plastics, asphalt, styrofoam, tennis shoes. Yeah, I know. Well, AOC is going to stop Congress from trading. Good on her. Sam, I think the MULN CEO must know something, and I hear he's a good guy. My opinion of CLNV, I think I liked CLNV, but they also took a deal. That stock was in the middle of a rally, and I think had a lot of legs, and then they took a deal. So I like CLNV, but I don't know. I don't like that he takes the deal. Yeah, thank you, Ken. I think that's right. There's Kapke. William just got off the phone with a Wall Street attorney. I was telling him about GTI and Alpine. I told him Alpine got a Wells noses. His response was, holly holy ho, holly holly dream, and when she danced, na na na, she told me, holly holy. I don't know how to say that one politely. His response was, oh my gosh, you don't want one of those. That's amazing, Robert Kepke. That's amazing. I'm not yes, I'm concerned that people hear what we're saying and they infiltrate. But guys, your message, it's your message, is true. It's elegant. It's simple. And once heard, it can't be unheard. So I think all of their manipulations and their attempts are the actions of a criminal enterprise that is going to be shut down. And even if there was some success in their actions, it's never going to go back the way they did it before. Why? Because of you. Because of you. Because of Sam. Because of Robert. Because of Jennifer. Because of anyway, all the names. Big Al. I kind of like AOC. I went to a Republican party years ago, and I wrote AOC on my name tag, and I was surprised how many people didn't know who she was then. But then the ones that did, they would get upset with me. But I'll tell you one thing, Robert, about AOC. I think she, and maybe it's because of her looks and her sex appeal, maybe. It might be because of her Boston College education. It may be because she worked behind a bar so long. But I'll tell you what she has in spades. She has the ability to attract the camera and to get the message about her. And on that score, she's almost as good as Donald Trump. And that's a power that few people have. But when AOC gets into a situation, she makes it all about her, and the cameras follow her, and that's like Trump. It's powerful. It's powerful. I like her bill. I don't know anything about it, but I like her bill to stop Congress trading. So you can't just dismiss people completely. Sada Aman, MMTL. Hi, Sada. MMTLP will be settled at 500. I don't. I was going to say I don't think so, but Sada, that might be a reasonable number. Because Sada, here's the thing. When they settle, and I'm talking about not opening trading, but when they settle, they've got to value it at what the shares in NextBridge are worth and could be worth. So you might not be far off. You might not be far off. But I wouldn't put that, if you have a... Do you ever see Monty Python? My name is Ann Elk. That's A-N-N-E Elk, not A-N Elk. Yes, Ann. It's Ann Elk. Yes, Ann. Ann is here to tell us about her theory. Yes, I have a theory, which is to say, it is my theory. Yes, Ann. It is my theory, which is to say, it is all mine. Yes, Ann. What is your theory? Well, my theory is the dinosaur is thin at one end, much, much thicker in the middle, and then thin again at the other end. That's it, is it, Ann? Yes. Yes, that is my theory, and it is it. Well, Ann, you seem to have hit the nail right on the head. Thank you. I have another theory. Well, Ann, I have another theory. Anyway, so much like the dinosaur, the bell curve, this is a terrible dinosaur and a terrible bell curve, Sada Aman, but this is 20% odds, this is 20% odds, 2% and 2%, but here is 60% of the probabilities, the bell curve. I would put $500 settlement up here. That's where I'd put it. I think on the bell curve or on the thin end of the dinosaur is right now. Now, Sada, it can change. But right now, I think they're going to float an offer over here to see if they can get away with it. And I think that offer will be somewhere between... Anyway, I'm not going to put a low number, but I'll put $100. Plus or minus. Anyway, I think the odds of their solution out of the gate being $500 is in the 20% range. That's my point of Ann Elk. Yes, Ann. So, Sam, if MMTLP goes to 500, I can buy another house with a big farm. I would love that, Sam. Another house, you're lucky. Some people will be buying their first house. But there's a penguin, Robert. There's a penguin on the telly. What's a penguin doing on the telly? How should I know? I'm not Dr. Jacob fucking Bronowski. If Big Al, if it goes to 500, I'm moving to Thailand, drinking Bar Street. Well, you bought another 5K at 104. Great, great, great. I didn't know that, Woody. She knocked on every door. I don't know if she's dumb even. That's the thing. I'm not even sure she's dumb. She went to BC. I didn't know the Mullen CEO makes $30 million a year. Mexican silverback, that would never happen in Europe. I'll get her on the show. Yeah, Ryan, it is a call option that doesn't expire. I would like to meet AOC, and I think she's, yeah, whoever has the oil wins the war. That's true. A ground war. That's terrible that he makes $30 million. That's true, Doug. Hyman's went to a massage parlor. It was self-service. So it was a happy beginning. All right, so we're running out of stories. 500 makes me rich. I don't know how rich it would make me. Let me think. Yeah, it'd be nice for me. I'd buy a small farm right next to Sam's. Wow, Woody, good for you. Big Al. All right, let me see what the closest. All right, I'll go 12 more minutes and then I'm gonna end. After 12 minutes, I'm gonna end. Trump needs to appeal it. I'm sure he will appeal it. Yeah, Sada, I'm not against that kind of side. Remember, Sada, they have to get everyone to agree. So I think you can get 500 a share, Sada. I think you can get 1,000 a share. But I don't know what, at this point, we don't have enough information. And more than that, there's nothing we can do. So I'll save my thinking power for when we have more to work with. Yeah, hemp is a great, and you know what else, David? Hemp can clean the soil of toxins. Hemp can make poisoned soil back to good soil. Thank you, Brian. And Brian, you're not gonna miss anything because I'm gonna go in 11 minutes. But thank you for hanging in there. Well, 500 might happen. I would guess, though, guys, and Sada as well. I think if they're going to pay out 500, I think the 500 would go to NextBridge, and you'll end up with shares and a cash distribution, and your shares will be worth a lot of money. But if I were NextBridge, if I'm going to give out stock to help out, I would demand that the money comes to NextBridge. Yeah, hemp could be planted at Fukushima. Thomas, I met a guy down at Rice University with the Chinese clients of mine, and right now I'm forgetting his name, Professor, and he was great. I called him and emailed him, and he got right back to me. But then my clients lost interest. But he told me there's technology to pull the radiation out of the seawater around Fukushima. And wouldn't that be amazing if first Obama, then Trump had spent money on helping clean up Fukushima rather than destroying various parts of the Middle East. Thank you, Flora. It looks like you're wearing one of those old World War II boopsy. I can't quite see it, but it's a nice picture. I wasn't on the GTI space call. I think it is going up. Yeah, Big Al. Look, guys, big numbers are great, but if they offered 75, it's hard to turn down. 25 is hard to turn down. All right, Flora, see you. I look forward to when we have other things to talk about. I think some of my frustration is that it gets boring. It's actually boring sometimes. But I do admire each of you for hanging in there and learning more than I know. On the space calls, I'm amazed at the depth of knowledge and the commitment and the talent. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Oh, that's just an internet picture. Well, that's you have good taste. You have good taste. I was going to say, or do you taste good? And then I realized that will be misunderstood as some sort of sexual comment. And I was simply thinking of the tuna fish ad. It's an avatar picture. It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, watching the grass grow isn't fun. But like Science Rules, any project, one of the gentlemen here, I forget his name, he builds houses. He's a contractor, and I'm sure he knows. When you start the project and then you're doing it and it goes on and it goes, ugh, the fun part is the last 5%. So we haven't gotten to the fun part yet. Without the halt, we go to 50. I think that's right, Big Al. But I don't think, well, they might give 50, but I don't think they're going to let it get out of control. Pura Vida. I didn't know that they're going to temporarily disable accounts. But Pura Vida, the key word there is temporary. And no, I'm not worried. Woody, it's not just the tidal wave that polluted the entire Pacific Ocean. It's the fact that 350 to 400 tons that we know about, tons of radioactive water goes into the Pacific Ocean every single day from Fukushima, and it's done that from March 11th of 2011, every single day. Every single day. They built the power plant on the top of a underground river that goes to sea. They knocked down walls and rocks 70, 80 feet to bring it down to sea level. They use the design of a nuclear reactor that belongs in a submarine, and where you store the waste on top of the reactor to save money. All of this was to save money. And then they didn't have, in a classic case of hubris, they didn't have a power system in case a tidal wave came over that would keep the generators running. And Woody, it's not just that. They keep the coriums cooled by spraying seawater on them, and they've done that every single day for over a decade, and that causes radioactive mist to go up into the troposphere every single day, and it gets over to the United States in 3 days. It goes around the northern hemisphere. Fukushima is an extinction level event, and no one talks about it. Barack Obama came on and said America has nothing to worry about, but each American should stay informed. Your responsibility is to stay informed. So I did it. I followed it for months, for years. But then they took down ENE as a website, so you can't even get that. None of the major newspapers follow the story. And 4 minutes, Jenny, 4 minutes. Oh, hemp is already removing radioactivity? That's great, Thomas Dubois. Performance stock. Well, how does he get value when he didn't perform? Okay, so I'll stop talking about Fukushima. Jenny said I got to stop 3 more minutes. I'll answer whatever comes up, and then I'm going to go. I know, what performance? All I can say, Mexican Silverback, is we've got to stop rewarding these financial engineers. Financial engineering doesn't add anything to anything. All right, so since there's nothing. Okay, let's see. Good night, Matthew. Yeah, Woody, I know. I'd like price discovery, Aaron, Salentine. I'm just not sure they're going to give it to you. Yeah, the Monty Python. There's a penguin on the telly. Well, Jad, I think the price will rise after the dividend, but not right away. The dividend, the restricted shares has to catch out the back office. Jad, if you're apparently Fidelity had problem with our last dividend before everyone gave up on it and went to COSM. But this is the last thing I'm going to do, and then I'm going to hang up. But Jad, if the DTCC, that's the Depository Trust Corporation, has, and for Fidelity, if the DTCC has 10 million shares of GTII in the name of Fidelity, Fidelity shows in your accounts and everybody that they have 50 million shares because it's all electronic. It's failed to deliver. It's what the criminals sold into the system. When this restricted share dividend comes out, it's 1 million shares restricted. Well, DTC gives Fidelity 1 million shares of the restricted, so Fidelity gets 1 million. But in your accounts, there has to be 5 million. There has to be 5 million, Jad. So it doesn't kick in right away because most people are just going to go about life. They have the entry on their statement, and so what? It's only when Fidelity runs out of this 1 million shares and they have to start delivering the 4 million for real that the bite comes. It doesn't happen right away. It takes a while to kick in. So I never expected it to happen right away. We might be surprised, but I think it'll take at least weeks, if not longer. But the thing is, Jad, GTII will deliver another dividend and then another dividend. They are trying to do the job legally that Gary Gensler has forfeit. African swallow. Is there a way they can get away from this? Yeah. I guess when the restriction comes off the stock, then what's in your account will be counterfeit common shares, just like the criminals put in your account. They could do it that way. But the main thing, Jad, though, the main thing is now that the eyes are on them, it's against the law. It's against the law to stuff your account with counterfeit shares. Now, when you read Dr. Susan Trimbleth's book, she makes a good argument that they have set up the system so you can meet failure to delivers with failure to delivers. I'm not enough of an expert to understand how long that can be kicked down the road. But the fact is, if Fidelity participates in securities fraud, they're going to go to jail. So my point is, not everyone in the back office wants to go to jail. So they're going to have to resolve this. But yes, I think if they could wait beyond, and that's my opinion, if they could wait beyond the restriction, it is possible they could delay the consequences for a long time. But Jad, the point is to keep trying, and so it's this dividend. Then they're going to give the dividend of the lawsuit. They're going to give the dividend of a coupon from 1-800 law firm. They'll probably give a dividend of a distribution, maybe of one of their subdivisions. They're going to keep trying to catch out the system. Is everyone trying to stop this shorting? I'm trying, Ham's trying, but no one's trying to stop the shorting in GTII from the SEC, from FINRA, or from Alpine, or even from the broker-dealers. So yeah, I think they will get it on. I don't know, but you have to admit there's a possibility they'll get it under $1 tomorrow. But it won't stay there, and it won't stay there. It won't stay there, in my judgment. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna quickly say goodnight. 6:04. Thank you very much. Peace, love, and happiness, and catch you on the flip side.